Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I'm gonna make an early New Year's resolution. I think the big theme for my resolutions for 2025 AD are that even though I want to continue to network with others, I want to stay true to my roots and advocate for singles equality. And quite frankly, I am single by heart. Part of the reason I've returned to the dating world is to be more accepted for who I am. What do I mean by that? Yesterday, I took my date to a movie, and I really felt much more respected than just a couple weeks earlier when I was going to the movies alone. It's unfortunate. I got the sense that in the Western world, relationship statuses have become almost like a social score of some sort, right? You need to prove that you're worthy of a relationship to be accepted for who you are, right? So I'm so glad I have somebody to come with me to the holiday party on campus this year. And last year, I think part of the reason I could have been accepted a little bit better was that I didn't have somebody with me. Let's put it that way. I won't go into the details of it. But here in the United States, singles only make 40% of the incomes of a married person. And I'll let you do the math. Take what you make in a year divided by 0.4. That's what you could be, if you're single, that's what you could be making if you were married. When I did the math and I thought about what I would do with that money, there's a lot of possibilities, right? Right now, I don't live in the best place in town. I could certainly upgrade my living arrangements. I wouldn't buy property, though, because I want to be able to pivot my career when the time comes. I could certainly eat out a lot more. Right now, not being able to eat out every meal is kind of putting a pigeonhole on my opportunities to network with people, right? And I could take a vacation once a year, right? Travel to Taiwan or Poland, right? A lot of possibilities. I invite you to do, if you're single, take what you make in a year divided by 0.4. Now, why do singles make so little? Well, I don't think it's necessarily... See, I would hope none of you guys have ever gone to a job interview and had the manager ask, hey, are you married, right? That probably doesn't happen, right? Hopefully not often. But what does happen is the subtle differences that happen day to day, right? There's an odd shift nobody wants to take. You end up taking it. There's emergency, right? You're married. Colleagues well, first of all, they're more likely to own property, and then there's a house repair emergency. They call you, right? So you get the idea, and the difference is only renegotiate themselves, right? Because when you're only making 40% of the income, it's hard to go out to eat, and so you stay single, and then the difference just keeps renegotiating itself, right? For example, when I go to a restaurant alone, I often get the shittiest service that's possible, in large part because I'm single. They don't expect me to tip very well, and as a result, I don't tip very well, right? When I was going to yesterday or 2 nights ago, we went to Red Robin. I got some of the best service I've gotten in years, right? And as a result, I actually want to tip well, right? And you get the idea, right? The difference is just keep renegotiating into a bigger and bigger snowball until you look back and you realize that, oh my God, you're nearing retirement, you have nothing saved up, and so you're getting you're not being treated with dignity out there. And my lucky day, I look on the ground and I find some copper, right? How often do you go out for a walk and find precious metals on the ground, right? And I was sick with COVID-19 last. Part of the reason I returned to the dating world was the last situation that really showed the difference. I was sick with COVID-19 in July. We had a heat wave. It was 110 degrees, and just as I start to recover, I go out to my favorite grocery store, pick up some comfort foods, and you got to remember it's July. I'm dehydrated. I'm disoriented. I'm lonely, and I finally pick up the food, and there's nowhere to sit down to eat. You know, it's 110 degrees outside. Otherwise, I'd go out to my car, right? And so I camped out in the store to eat it, and I didn't get a whole lot of respect, right? Had I been married, this would have played out very differently, right? I could have had somebody pick up the food for me, or I probably would have lived in a better arrangement, right, at the time if I had two incomes to. And more, not only two incomes, but each one being that much bigger, right? Um, I probably wouldn't have lived in the place that I was living, right? Uh, Now, what do I suggest as a solution to all of this? First of all, singles got to band together. Too many people are single in their own way, pulling in different directions. I have a colleague who is widowed. I have another colleague who is single but lives with her parents, and so and then we probably have a number of colleagues who are divorced, right? I don't know, but I would guess, right? But everybody's single in their own direction, and it's like a tug of war where everybody's pulling in a different direction, right? So when something happens at work, if we all were single together, right? The other thing I want to see happen is something along the lines of like a singles commune of some sort, right? So, for example, the next time one of my colleagues gets COVID-19, or the next time one of my colleagues has gets to go on a first date for the first time in years, right? We should all rally behind and support that colleague, right? You get the idea, right? A union of some sort, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.